David, what do you make of this first day of the Jubilee observances?
Well, I think you put your finger on it. The extraordinary image is that of the Queen, this little, old, 96-year-old woman, effectively alone in front of that enormous crowd on the balcony. We've never seen her like that before. She's always been surrounded by the family. This was an event for her, about her, dedicated to her. I shall never forget it. I saw the coronation as an 8-year-old boy on television, the first time I'd seen television. I remember detail after detail. She talked in the message that she issued for the Jubilee about memory. It will be that memory of her alone, which of course fundamentally was also what we actually saw in the coronation. You know, she was crowned without a consort. She was there, 25-year-old woman, just like the first Queen Elizabeth at the same age, sitting alone on that throne. And fundamentally, she begins and she will end in the same way. It is what monarchy is about. It's that extraordinary interchange between what you were talking about, this great centuries, actually 1,000-year-old institution, and a particular individual. But there was one thing I worried about a little in what you were talking about. You seem to suggest that the recession of empire somehow marked, decline, failure. The peculiarity, Mark, about the British Empire is that it willed its own end. And that's an extraordinary thing. You were a Canadian. Canada was to be not the United States. Canada was not to rebel. So you had the Durham Report, which actually realised that the natural destiny of the great dominions was to be free, independent, perhaps keeping the Queen, perhaps becoming republics. That was uncertain. But, that is again something wholly remarkable. The British Empire largely did not end in bloodshed. It didn't end in revolt. It ended in a planned process. And again, you talked about it as empire fading. The empire hasn't faded. It's left Canada. It's left Australia. It's left New Zealand. It's left South Africa. It's left the United States. No other empire has left their children. They're the children of empire. They are offspring. They're offspring of Britain. And I think, again, it's this sense that we use the same word. We talk about the royal family. We talk about the family of British nations. And if, again, we've been looking at the horrors in the Ukraine. If you look at the only group, apart from those countries in Eastern Europe that directly border on Russia, the only nations that have stood solidly, vigorously, rearming the Ukraine are the old British Empire and the United States, which is the original bit of the British Empire. I actually think that's something to be rather proud of. We've been doing too much of this recessional business. I think we need to reverse gear very sharp. And also, you're wrong. There are lots of monarchies in Europe. All the most stable states in Europe are monarchies. Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden. The states that are in crisis are boring republics like France and Germany and Italy. Spain is where we restored a monarchy.